preparation from our last game. I think we've had an intense week of practice. We've had some schematic things that we've had to work on since Oakland. Relatively pleased with the game against Oakland. I thought there was some learning curves, that we had to get through in that game and seeing zone and a very, very slow tempo, which we had not seen. But I thought that a lot of good things. I thought Tommy was excellent. Missed some shots that I think we normally make, and maybe their zone had a little to do with that and the rhythm. But all in all, a good learning curve. I think we get much more out of those games than we do 30-point wins or more. But now it's a Final Four team that is very, very talented. They're very good. They're extremely well coached. Nate does a great job. I think we've got one thing in common. We both got beat by UConn in very different type games, but they're a team that is a little different stylistically than they were last year. Cliff is Omaruri, transfer from Rutgers that we know all about, has been impactful for them on the defensive side. He's helped them protect the rim. They were very similar to us last year, playing Nelson a lot at the 5 as we played Coleman. So their rim protection is better. They've got one of the elite guards in college basketball in the Sears kid, a veteran, a guy that's a knock-dead shooter. He gets fouled a lot. He's a guy that drives them. And then Nelson, playing a little more at the 4 this year, is just a tough guy. He's a guy that hard driving, hard rebounding, had a double-double against Purdue, and a really good basketball player, really good team. We're going to do it in their home state. Start of a series that we'll see them next year back in Chicago. So excited to see where we're at and doing it against a great team and Final Four team, and a team that's been, I think, preseason number 1 or 2, depending on what polls you want to look at. So great opportunity for us.
You guys are really familiar with Cliff. What do you think is important for Tommy going up in that matchup, and just how you see that between those two?
Yeah, they do. They play him in drop coverage, and he's one of the top shot blockers in the Big Ten. Last year, he's going to provide that opportunity to for our guards to see that in ball screens. His shot blocking is pretty special. He's a good athlete. He's a great runner in transition. Alabama likes to play fast. So he fits that athletic mold. His minutes have been 18 to 20, so they're playing half the game with him, half the game without him. And but he is impactful in terms of his ability to protect the rim.
Assume Kylan Boswell is going to check Mark Sears. Is that a key matchup?
Sure.
And then what'd you see about the way they defended him in the Purdue game?
Yeah, I thought that they did a nice job in the Purdue game of not fouling him. I thought that they didn't go for all of his head fakes and his hesitations and stayed off his body. They made him shoot the ball in. Sears doesn't shoot a lot of twos unless they're layups. Very good. They found him in transition, contested everything, and I thought they were very solid with that. But Kylan's seen him before. They played last year when he was at Arizona. So it'll be a good matchup. Those are 2 really quality guards, and it'll be fun to watch that matchup.
How much does the experience of going on the road to Ole Miss help the young guys with this first road trip?
Ask me after the game. I think it helps. Just from the standpoint of being different. It's not the same bed. It's hotels. It's a different routine on the road. I think there's value in that. It's the reason we did it. It's a little different environment that we're not on their campus. I still expect a great crowd in their city. So, it's going to be quite a challenge from that standpoint, but a great opportunity. And now we've done it with Ole Miss, and let's hope we've learned some lessons and do some things better.
Did you and Nate ever talk about having this on campuses, or was it always going to be a neutral?
Yeah, it just fit. They're playing a game in Birmingham every year, and it just fit the right schedule. So it wasn't truly brought up. It was an opportunity for us to get back to Chicago as well in the United Center, and again bring an opponent that is worthy of playing in that building. So when we went neutral to Birmingham, and we're going to play people. You look at their schedule, what they've got coming up. It's very similar to what we continue to go through, playing great people. So it just happened to be the right fit at the right time and for neutral.
The process might be a little different, but is it looking in the mirror a little bit in terms of what you want to get offensively, pace, three-point shots at the rim? It seems like both of you guys are trying to win the math game in the shot chart.
Yeah, I think that if we were playing last year's Alabama team, very much. They're a little bit different. I don't think they're quite as high in terms of their rate of three-point shots as maybe they were last year. They still are going to shoot a lot. I hope we should get to shoot a lot. But I think it's a credit to Nate in terms of what he's done in terms of being able to keep moving the needle forward, keep finding out what's unique, what wins. They were a team that I think it shows how good a coach Nate is. I think they had 5 or 6 losses first semester last year. I think they really went through it, and then all of a sudden get going and get hot, and it showed how he could keep that team together. They did it with a ton of threes. They did it playing fast. They were small, and I say small. They just did it without posting, and they're doing a lot of the same things. It's just a little different with Cliff in there in terms of the rim protection.
You mentioned learning off of not a blowout win, and is that a game that I don't know if you needed it, but it comes in handy when you got a matchup like Alabama coming?
There's always a lot of pluses playing Greg Campy's team. There's a reason we've scheduled them the last 2 years. It's just a different pace, it's a different vibe, it's a different stress level of preparation, it's a different stress level of the what you could potentially see down the road. Not a lot of people play that way, but it is extremely unique, and so there's value in that. I think it's exciting to see probably just the opposite coming in Alabama in terms of pace, in terms of style. But I think that we all like as coaches to see our teams stressed, to see our teams how they respond to not having everything easy, and I think that's the great value. And as we head into Alabama, is we know nothing's going to be easy. It's going to be a dogfight on both sides, and so I think that part of it is where the true value is.
How do you prepare Thomas Love to face a rim protector like Cliff? And is it a matter of maybe pulling him away from the rim with shots? Or
I think it's a lot of different things. I do. I think that we'll see how they want to guard him. His three-point attempts, even though his percentage isn't great yet, he's got a lot of attempts. That's a big part of his game. So we'll see how they want to. I think that'll be a piece of the chess match to see how they truly want to. How they want to guard him, whether it's switching, whether it's a cross match. I don't know at this point. They've done a little bit of both. Been pretty consistent with Cliff in the game. They've been in their drop coverage, and we'll see how that plays out. But that'll be a piece of it, because we all know he's a very good shooter and not bashful shooting him, and yet he can play in post ups as well.
seems like Alabama's used a lot of different lineups, going big, going small. Do you feel like do you have a team this year that you can throw something out there that can match that no matter what you see?
I think so. I think so, and they have done a lot of that. You know, there's a very good balance in terms of what Nate has done in terms of playing guys minutes. But I do think we can do that. I think we can play, you know, Ben and Carey. I think we can play Ben at the 5 some and play really small if we need to with Trey sliding down. We haven't had to do that yet, but it's something we've sure practiced. I think we could play, you know, we could play really big if we wanted to. Slide Ben to the 3 and play Merez and Tommy. So what we do offensively allows us and affords us the opportunity to do that because we're basically positionless. So it's just a matter of moving our pieces where we want. But Bama has that same luxury, and you'll see Grant Nelson in a lot of different roles for them, and you know, he's such a versatile player.
Kylan's played in a lot of, or handful of ranked on ranked, big stage type of games. Do you need to lean on that, or other guys on your team?
No doubt. And you know, Kylan's got a great demeanor. He's got a great swagger about him, and you know, he's not afraid of those moments. I think playing high-level AAU basketball to high-level high school basketball, and then the successes they've had at Arizona. They've played in these games, and you know, he's sure not afraid, and that's nice for you know, the other guys to be able to lay witness to how he prepares and his attitude in these games.
So with him and Trey down, you know, 2 seasons of high major ball, just how does that play out maybe on just a daily basis? What has their experience done kind of in here?
Yeah, I think the one thing is their understanding of you know, you got to show up every day. I think that, you know, even though the system is new and the style of play is new, I think the one thing that you know, they show up knowing that they've got to be productive every single day in practice. They know what that looks like, and you know, Kylan especially has you know, that's been an easy transition for him. But you know, Trey knows what it's like to be a part of big games, and whether it was at USC or Louisville, they've had their fair share as well. So there's an advantage in that.
First time since 2000, both basketball programs and the football team were all ranked at the same time. Do you see a common denominator between the programs in terms of what's allowed you all to be at that level right now at the same time?
Yeah, you know, I think there's a lot of factors in that. I think coaches are pieces. I say it many times, and I'm very sincere when I say this. Coaches win games, administrators win championships. Look at our facilities, all the way around. Look at the fan support. Look at the administrative support, the consistent administrative support we've had from Robert Jones as chancellor to Josh Whitman. Consistency plays a big part in that. You know, I think that it speaks volumes how contagious winning is. I think it's an attitude. I think that starts with Josh on a day-to-day basis of what the expectation level is here. And you know, I've said it many times, we're striving for a national championship here, nothing short of that. And when you're allowed to say that and be able to put those steps in motion, days like yesterday and this week happen, and couldn't be happier for Brett, the incredible job that he's done in football, and not just at this season, but the consistency with which he's doing it, the consistency with which his recruiting is finding success. Obviously, Shauna, you know, has as a veteran group is taking off from what they did last year in the postseason. And you know, there's a lot of ways it can look, but the one consistent thing in that has been unbelievable administrative support, Josh's leadership in terms of the value of winning and what that looks like, and being able to put all those things in place allows for that. And it's a great day. I mean, it doesn't happen. It's very rare, and it's nice. It's been 25 years basically since it's happened here. So yeah, it's fun to be a part of that.
Keaton signed. How was that, and how's signing week going? Now that letter of intents aren't required anymore.
Yeah, we're ecstatic to get Keaton. I think he's a guy that has just a tremendous future. I love his versatility. I love his shot making ability. He's an action guy. He's a tall who can make baskets, you know, as a guard, and he knows winning. He's got a basketball family. He's excited to be a part of the orange and blue, and I'm just excited to have him as we continue to you know, to move forward in this new world. You know, I don't want to downplay the importance of signing, but obviously the national letter of intents deal is gone, so we look at recruiting a little differently, and know that the young man we've just signed is in a great place, and we're excited to have him. He's part of our family, and we'll continue to keep moving the needle in the world of recruiting.
I mean, with this early signing period, like how much, even just moving forward, do you feel like you'll do in this time when the spring has become such a huge part?
I don't have an answer for that. I truly don't. We're always going to try to sign the best players that we can sign. I think that the calendar, the recruiting calendar gives us an opportunity to sign people in the fall. We'll look to try to do that to the best fit of our team, and understand that they're not all binding. There's nothing binding anymore. So you got to figure out the value of that. I think we've all come to the conclusion, especially at the high major level with basketball, you know, with the basketball coaches, that most of your work is going to happen in the spring. You're going to have young guys that won't commit or don't want to do anything until they know what a roster spot looks like, availability. So we're in a very different time, and you know, it's very similar to last year. We expect the spring to be very active. We're in a different place. We've got a very young team. Last year we were an old team. A lot of people knew exactly what they were getting into when they came to Illinois because we were losing. This year it's drastically different. And then we don't know yet what the rev share piece will look like. So there's just tremendous uncertainty. So I think it'll be a kind of a learn on the fly as we're all dealing with new rules and new governance that's probably coming our way. So we'll see how that all plays out in the recruiting game in the future.
Okay.